Okay, so let's begin the skinning process for JD, Johnny Diamond. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to select the body and I'm going to attach, well actually first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to ungroup that head, take the body, attach the skull, do not modify material IDs or material, okay, and same for the eyes. Same for the eyes. Now I've attached these into one mesh to make the exercise simpler to begin with, but later on you could separate various elements like the head and the neck and whatever and have them as slightly different or separated parts of the rig. But for this process, we'll just attach the whole body like we have now. And what we're going to do is we're going to add a skin modifier to this mesh. So add the skin modifier. We need to go down to where it says bones, click add. We're going to select all the biped bones. So I'm holding the shift key and I'm selecting them all and hit select. They all get added into that skin modifier. Okay, so now comes the tricky part where we've got to go through and carefully weight parts of the mesh in relationship to the envelopes of each of the bones. That terminology will become clear as we go through. Okay, so actually, you know what, before we move any further forward, let's just test out our animation and see how it looks. And it won't work perfectly, but certain elements will work. Okay, not bad. We got some issues straight away. I'll just pull it back a little bit. Let's look at this fella up close. So we can see that indeed most of the mesh has been gathered up by the bone, but you can see we've got issues down here where the mesh down here doesn't quite know what it's meant to do in relationship to each of these bones. I'll show you in a moment when we use something called a weight tool that this mesh thinks it's connected to the foot by the looks of it and possibly to the thigh. It's not sure what to do, so we'll clarify that in a moment. But on the whole, our character's pretty much responding fairly well. Same on the other leg, but the arms aren't so bad, and we can go through and fine tune this a little bit. Okay, we won't spend all day on it, but we can certainly start it off. So I'll drag this window back out because we're going to need it. Back in here, and we want to edit the envelopes, and I want to select the vertices to make them available to me, and we know that the bits that aren't working are down here somewhere, so I'm going to select a bunch of vertices in here. Now before I do my selection, I'm going to choose the this particular selection tool which allows me to draw selection areas. Okay, so I'm just going to draw around the areas that I know seem to be an issue. And it seems to be those vertex there. And then I'm going to look for the weight tool down here. Click that. Up it pops. And what it's suggesting to me is that those vertex there are connected to the calf, but they're also connected to the foot. So what I'm going to say to them is, I want you 100% or 1 connected to the calf. And to the foot, I don't want any connection as yet at all, so I can hit 0. I can zero that out, and we can just deselect that now. Just close that down for a sec, and let's have a little look at what influence that has actually had. So let's go across, and we can see straight away that that has clarified that bit of mesh movement there. So let's do the same on the other side. So just like we did before, let's make sure that we're at the vertex level, and we are. And let's go in here and select those vertex there. Okay, and we'll get our weight tool up again. And we'll say for the calf, we want it to be 100%. And for the foot, at this moment, we'll say 0%, just to clarify things. Again, if we turn side on, scrub the playhead. You can see those verts are now being gathered up. Okay, so first things first, I'm going to save that, save as, and I'm going to say skinning. Stage 1, skinning stage 1 will do. Okay, let's just have a look now. Close that down, just going to come out of the, close the envelope, go back to the mesh, go to properties and visibility. I'm going to put that back up to 1, hit OK. I just want to bring that forward now. We've lost our texture on our head, I think. We've lost our face texture. We seem to have lost some of the face texture. Maybe it's just the eyes. Doesn't matter. That's really not our concern at this point in time. Our concern is just fine-tuning that mesh so that we can get in there and get this rigged to that level. We've got little issues around here like this, you know, or the clothing kind of, again, connecting to one bone or the other. We've got to go in and fine-tune it. It takes a little while to go through it and look for any creases, but for the moment, that will do for stage 1. We've got some little issues here where we need to do some blending, but for stage 1, at 6 minutes 41, we should have our basic skin available. Okay, a basic skinning up and running, so our little character will do what we want it to do, and then we can get in and fine-tune the mesh a little bit further. Okay, I'll stop there for stage 1.